Broadly speaking, this paper was based off the journey from 12 people. These people had disabling low back pain. We recruited them because they had high levels of pain, and a lot of them weren't working. They had tried surgery on workers' compensation, tried medication, injections, previous physios, a lot of high intervention. To give some context of how disabled they were or how impactful their pain was, their average Roland Morris was 17.5. Sorry, their median Roland Morris was 17.5 out of 23. Most studies that I looked at in my PhD in the systematic review that we included, which were back pain trials, so randomized controlled trials, they were around 5, 6, 7 out of 24, and higher is worse on that scale. So these are the more disabled end of the scale from a back perspective. And so we interviewed them at the start while they were having their low back pain. We also measured their movements and postures on a weekly occasion using wearable sensors and EMG, trunk muscle EMG, measuring their specific problems the specific tasks that they had problems with. So we asked them, what are the most bothersome things based off the patient-specific functional scale? They might say bending, sitting, standing. Then we measure bending, sitting, and standing on a weekly occasion for 5 weeks without any intervention. That's when I did the interview. And we could just track how they performed these tasks that they found value in really trying to be in a very natural environment, because the wearable sensors don't obtrude much at all. We also collected pain and activity limitation or functional outcomes, as well as a whole bunch of psychological factors. So things like pain self-efficacy, pain catastrophizing, pain control, back pain beliefs, pain perceptions, those sorts of different things on that same weekly occasion. And then they had a 12-week cognitive functional therapy intervention. And then we measured all those factors again for another 5 weeks after they had that. And I did another interview, and that's what formed that follow-up period. So that sort of frames the study. When we were analysing the qualitative interviews, so you have all the transcripts and you're analysing and looking for themes, we really found these themes of protection during those baseline interviews, so those first interviews. And this wasn't necessarily just conscious protection, but it was also the participants described these lived experiences of feeling tense and stiff and guarded and locked up and seized up and all this stuff our patients really say when you ask them to describe their pain. So that we've dubbed that as nonconscious protection. So it's sort of a subconscious, automatic, habitual protection tension that their body just does. And usually that's because of a number of things, but pain being one of those. Pain makes you tense, but predominantly beliefs around damage or something being wrong in their back. We also heard stories of people saying, no, I have to purposefully protect my back. I'm braced, I tense my core, I keep my back straight, I'm careful and I'm cautious. And that again was driven by this belief of damage or vulnerability in their back, or something being wrong, or just the future and being uncertain around that, or uncertain around a diagnosis. So in that baseline period, broken up protection, but broken up into non-conscious protection as well as conscious protection.